Hello everyone, Thranx is here, and welcome to the top 10 tourist planets, up to date as of March 2021, in the Euclid Galaxy on normal game setting. I bring you the explored area known as the Thranxian Expanse, charted and cataloged by fans and myself. These are my picks, and we'll be including portal coordinates. First, we go to a big wet ball of mud and moisture and mist, affectionately known as the Quagmire. What brings this planet to our top 10 list? Well, simply put, it's probably the most swamp-like planet I've encountered of the swamp-like planets. It does have a fair amount of flora. The vapor on this planet is so thick, it's almost impossible to see the fact that there is an ocean on this planet. It also lacks high-rise mountains. The water itself is a beautiful teal, and there's magnificent four-winged dragon-like creatures in the sky. In fact, much of the fauna here ends up being quite bizarre, and there's the occasional bioluminescent mushroom. Overall, a fairly peaceful planet. The sky is a wispy slate, and there's an occasional rock sticking out. As you can see, it just looks like a swamp. If you're looking for the chords, there they are. What else do we got? Well, the next one I debated even putting on the list. This vile anomaly, known as the Crystal Mists, at number 9. You can see we're entering here during a storm, but that's okay. It's difficult to see what's actually going on here. Once the weather clears, you'll be able to see that the ground has many different rock formations coming out of it. Not exactly what you think of when you think of crystals. The name's possibly misleading, or else perhaps the crystals are inside of these giant rock structures after all. On the day side, we're able to see that there is some form of flora on the surface, although no trees really to speak of. Then the sky is a deep yellow. The water itself, mostly algae. Algae and kelp. The big reason this planet makes the list, though, is not for its unusual oceans. No, it's the land masses themselves. Here you can see is an odd island with a crystal at the end. If you want the chords, there you go. Next up is a place you might go to catch yourself a new companion, the Tallstrider Iceage planet. This planet has some rolling ice-covered mountains with some occasional trees. No dense forests to speak of, no, nothing like that, but instead what we have is quite an unusual variety of fauna. Not for which the planet is named are these bipedal, massive koala-looking creatures, but there are many other creatures not featured right here. There are at least 2 or 3 distinct species of tall-striding ant-like insects, and also we're talking about predators that look like rocks and minerals. The weather can be a bit oppressive at times, but if you're looking for a pet and you want the coordinates, that's right, here they are. So where do we go from here? Well, number 6, probably one of the ones that stood out on my mind to make the list right away, is a lump of rock known as dead coral. In this system, the background nebula is incredibly dark, so these planets without atmosphere they're really a reflection of the nebula, but that's not what makes this one unique. No, there is not one, not two, but three different types of rock and coral formations that appear on this planet. Not to mention, half the planet is almost perfectly flat. The other half of the planet has some very large rolling mountains. The dust on this planet is so thick it creates artificial shadows where there should be none, even when you're standing directly underneath the star of the system. With all these different colored rocks and rock formations, this might be the perfect place for your oxygen and rust base. Maybe. I don't know why I keep coming back to this planet. There's something pretty mystical about it. Well, if you're looking for the coordinates, I'm not going to give them to you. No, I'm just kidding. Here they are. I wouldn't do that. Next up on the list is a hot rock, scorched. But how it forms is a bit of a mystery. Call this one Needle Peaks, because it has some of the sharpest mountaintops I've seen. Now, some sections of the planet have more of these needles than others. But as you can see, they come to incredible points. That, however, is not the only reason to give this planet a look. You see, unlike other hot planets, this planet has no natural flora to speak of. No, instead, it's riddled with a very unusual sort of coral and barnacles. And the dirt is tinted this deep red. You can feel the heat emanating off of it. It gives it a very arid and almost badland feel. There is no ground fauna, so don't think you'll come here for your pets. No. Instead, you'll have to just rely on the sights to keep yourself entertained. Maybe it used to have a giant ocean? That's where all this coral comes from? But what made these spires? Probably warrants further investigation. If you'd like the portal coordinates to come and check it out yourself, there you go. They're on the screen. Let's move on. Coming in at number 5, and it might be your number 1, is a place I like to call Wonderland. Now, why would we call it Wonderland? Maybe you can guess. It's not the colors. No. It's the mushrooms. Not a couple. Lots. Veritable mushroom forests in some sections of this planet. And they're not even all the same kind, although I could forgive you if you thought they all looked the same at first. No, here we have no predators. Only mild rain for weather. And of course, once the sun goes down, we're talking about a completely different planet. If you notice, the large mushrooms here are actually many different colors. Even if the yellows are the most frequent, there are greens, blues, of the same tall type. The bands of grass roll in reds and peach-colored cream colors. It's quite mesmerizing. I'm sure there's a lot you could do here. If only there was a way for you to get here. Oh yeah, we'll do the coordinates. Sure, let's do that. Alright, coming in at number 4 is a place that I have affectionately named Cryo-botics. This place has some very steep, rocky mountains cut through with rivers, almost creating these unique fjords. And despite being these rocky, steep, craggy mountains, they're just littered with evergreen trees, deep forests and blizzards. But is that why this planet is on the list? Not at all. In fact, this planet was affectionately named for its fauna, as I'm sure you could have guessed by now. The two types of robotic fauna that exist on this planet are actually fairly large and interesting. With light-up diodes on their joints and different colored tinting going on throughout their metal, these might be a companion for you. Possibly. But how do they exist with such cold? You'd think they would rust or lock up, and we know cold is damaging to most electronics. This planet definitely needs more research. You should totally come to these portal coordinates, grab one for a companion, gestate an egg, and get back to me with your findings. In the meantime, we're going to advance over to planet number 3, known as Volcania. Now, if you just picked a spot on this planet to come down on, you'll notice it's pretty much ocean, as far as the eye can see. Now, there's a couple islands here and there, a few, but the truly neat thing about this planet is that there seems to be a chance, at least, of volcanoes appearing in the ocean or along the coast, as long as they're rooted on an island. Now, if they form underwater, they don't seem to last, they seem to disappear, but if you're able to find some, you can get some truly magnificent volcanic islands and or coastal territories. As you can see, the magma burns with a very high energy radiation that causes it to change a bright yellow, which is also leaking out through the rocks and scorching the tips of the trees. Really neat color combinations going on with this planet. Oh, the coordinates? There they are. Our penultimate planet on the Euclid tour for March 2021 is actually a really awesome planet simply known as Guff. This planet, oh my goodness, almost came in at number 1. Look at this atmosphere. It actually has this double layer going on, and if you look far at the horizon, it's actually 3 different colors tiered in this atmosphere. You have this magenta, this deep like periwinkle, and then almost like a teal up top. Okay, the cloud cover is sporadic, and you do have some odd floating structures. Lots of flying creatures here. Flying creatures and aquatic creatures only. You're not going to make any companions or pets here, but these rock formations and these beaches, it's really tough to beat these colors. If you take a dip over to the ocean, you'll see that the wonders continue here on Guff. Because down in the ocean you have bright, bioluminescent blood algae. Ooh. Looks like fun. I keep thinking I'm going to come back and set up a base here. Oh, is that something you're going to do? Fair enough. I guess you'll want some coordinates then. And the final planet, which isn't even a planet. No. It is a moon known as ARK Eden. This moon orbits quite an awesome planet of its own, but we're not going to talk about that place. You'll have to check that out for yourself. No, instead, we're going to talk about what really looks like paradise until you start to see some of the anomalies present, which is why we're guessing this is part of the ARK project. You can see these man-made lithic structures here. The trees are nice, but they're a little off color. And then you have this giant planet looming in the sky to remind you, well, that's right, we're not on Earth. Plus, I guess there's no water. That would do it too. But look at these views. Gorgeous. Simply gorgeous. And some truly amazing sunsets take place on this moon as well. I think ARK Eden is probably the best place to wrap things up. But when it comes down to it, this video has been long overdue. If you've been waiting for this video, let me know in the comments how glad you are that I finally made the next one, and if you want them to continue into the next month. I want to thank everyone who's been patient with me during my life event that's caused a hiatus on the channel. I do hope you've had a good time watching, because as always, I've had a good time playing. Until next time, take care.